Hey there, good morning. It is 7:30 and welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett on this happy hump day Wednesday, and it is March 27th. We're wrapping up the month of March and maybe going out like a lion. I don't know. We'll have to talk to meteorologist Candace Campos about that, but it's good to be back with you. I was off for a little while. I was off for spring break, and then I had a couple of days to take care of some personal things, but I am here and well, thank God. And I'm thankful for all my crew here holding it down, including Candace. And Candace, you had a fun spring break, I heard, up in the
Yeah.
Carolinas. It's good to see
Mhm.
you.
Close to your neck of the woods back there, in the
Yes,
Carolinas. It's just beautiful. It's
it
just so
is. It
beautiful.
is.
And the weather was nice and stuff like that. But we missed you. We're glad that
I miss
you're
you
back.
guys.
Yeah.
It feels
It
good to
was
be back.
nice. It was nice to have everybody back together again, and we all shared a little cup of cafecito. If you
And I feel good. What about
feels better,
you?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Now
needed
I just
that.
need something like a warm, like a biscuit or
Oh,
a bagel,
bagel. Yes,
something.
warm. Still warm.
Something, yeah.
Krispy
Primarily
Kreme.
because it's freezing in this studio. But yeah, you know what? It's interesting because we started off the month a little more active, and it looks like we're going to be ending the last few days of March a bit more on the active side. So it's kind of like a 1-2 punch,
Mm-hmm.
Bridget, of rain in the forecast. The first round comes later on this afternoon, not for everybody, but some rain back into the forecast. And then we'll have another round for your morning commute. So it'll be a different chat as we head into Breakfast with Bridget tomorrow morning. We'll be pinpointing some rain. So let's look at what's going on across the southeast. We basically are watching an area of low pressure and a trailing cold front. That's all going to be moving into central Florida over the next 2 days. Now, the first area is already pushing into the Big Bend area, bringing with it some scattered showers in the forecast. Then we'll have a trailing cold front that's going to make its way into central Florida. More come Thursday morning. So it's going to be somewhat of a soggy evening commute for some, and then a soggy morning commute for others on Thursday morning. So here's a closer view of what's going on across Central Florida. We are watching again that line that has been packing a lot of lightning. We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings issued because of that. And we are going to see this line really weaken considerably as it heads into Central Florida as we head into the afternoon. But we are still going to be talking about some more rain. So let's show you what the clouds rain forecast is showing. You can see that temperatures are
Mm.
going to be still in the mid 80s, and then the rain comes in. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we will see some of those scattered showers, primarily across our northwestern zones. North and west of the I 4 corridor, we'll see some rounds of rain. Now, the timing of it happening between about 2 and 5 o'clock, that's kind of the warmest part of the day. So when you have temperatures in the mid 80s and we get that extra heating, that extra buoyancy, you know how hot air lifts, right? Like a hot air balloon, when you get that extra lift going on across Central Florida, that could spark up an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm. And as we continue to see here, temperatures are going to still, I should say, rain chances are still going to linger into the forecast into about the 11 o'clock hour, but we'll see overall a little bit of a lull in the forecast as we head into about 9:30 in the evening, 9:30 in the morning on Thursday. So this is when the second, that area number 2 starts moving in. It's all associated with a cold front that's going to still be just north of the area until tomorrow morning. Once that starts pushing through, we will see just a couple of scattered showers, and that's really going to be the kind of the end of the event as we head into your Thursday afternoon. We do have a launch as well in the forecast
Mm.
that will have that potential of hopefully going up, but we'll have some wind behind it to deal with. But that's a story for tomorrow. Look how much rain we've seen though for the month of March. We've really been racking up a lot of rain. Daytona and Leesburg are certainly in the surplus. Although areas like Sanford, Melbourne, Orlando, we're still below average, about an inch. So if we get some a little more rain for the month, that really won't hurt us. As we look at these severe weather risks, we're still under the marginal risk, basically a level 1 out of 5 in the forecast today, Bridget. And that's again going to be for areas pretty much along I 4 north and west where we have that higher threat for the rain. So let's break down the forecast. Between now and about 2, 3 o'clock, rain chances aren't too bad, maybe a 10% chance at best, but we will increase that chance of rain after about 2, 3 o'clock. And we're going to keep that chance of rain off and on throughout the evening and into the overnight hours, some scattered showers, again, with that potential. But once that front clears, we'll see the sunshine return nicely by Thursday afternoon. Friday is going to be nice, and that dry weather will stick around even as we head into your Easter Sunday. Temperatures will be into the low 80s. And then after we talk about the drier weather for the weekend, it's going to be all about the heat as we will be nearing 90 degrees before you know it by Tuesday, back to nearing 90. So enjoy that Friday cool spot there in the mid 70s because at least it'll be dry though for all the Easter egg hunts and all the festivities
Yeah.
going on later on this weekend.
Yeah, so many things, so many outfits, so many eggs
Yes,
to
I know.
pack, hide, you know.
Well, it's funny because my oldest, who's 6, turning 7 next month, she told Grandpa, "Don't forget, some of those eggs need to have some coins,
Oh,
some money." So my dad, who you commuted so much in Miami back in the day, used to have all these coins, right? You always had to have quarters for all the tolls. You just remember
exactly.
throwing them in the basket, which it's funny because the kids are like, "You used to throw money in a basket to get on the highway." I'm like, "We still have to pay. It's just a little machine now." But he is still so used to collecting his quarters that throughout the year he has his little bag that he collects all his quarters for Easter now. So the kids are
Oh,
always so excited because they see the big bag of quarters and dimes and pennies and all that stuff. So
that's cute.
Grandpa coming in clutch this year. Maybe somebody will get a
You know,
dollar
we used
or
to feel
something.
rich with coins back in the
Yes,
day, you know?
my kids are still at that
That's
point.
good
So
because I know
I'm
that.
gonna stay here.
Okay. Yes, yes. And
Don't tell them that
I
you can
have a
also roll up
cute
dollar bills in there too.
I have some cute like Pinterest type recipes I'll share with you later, but one involves croissants and sort of the empty tomb. It's kid friendly, and then
Oh,
some chicken minis
oh, that's
recipes.
cute.
So we'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm thinking of Easter bunny where you unroll the cinnamon roll and you make them into bunnies.
Cute. Okay, we'll
So
share later.
we'll share. All right,
Okay.
deal.
I'll see you soon. Thanks,
Okay,
Candace.
bye, B.
Bye. All right. Trooper Steve is standing by in results one this morning, and he's going to have a little bit of an extended day, but it's a fun day because you're going to stream at 11:30 today. Good morning. I
Yeah,
see you
so
laughing at
first and
us.
well, I wish I lived with y'all. I tell you, I want a nice croissant and some chicken minis homemade. Like when you said you were making homemade chicken minis, I was like, Bridget, I'm coming over for Easter. Like, come on.
Now, I don't want to make the
But
ham though. I think I'm going to get a honey baked ham if I can still get one.
that I would do that a little easier. You work way too much about this stuff. So, but no, you're right. Today is going to be a pretty awesome stream. It is a little different than what we normally do. I'm looking for the information as I'm talking to you. So we are, I say we because I have a photographer going with me today. So it's not just going to be results one. We're going to be out and about for today's stream, celebrating a life. An amazing life of service. She's turning 100 years old today, Mary Whitmire, and she's been with the Port Orange Police Department for years. Over 40 years of volunteer service for both Port Orange and fellow citizens out there. And she's going to be recognized today, from what I understand, with a pretty amazing proclamation.
Oh,
And I think that's what Results One gets to do. We get to go feature community members out there that no other news outlet is going to even pay any mind to. But that's what we do, and that's how we get results. And hey, let's send me out to Port Orange, hang out. She's volunteer service with the police department, so it falls right into an amazing stream
that's
today. So that's going to
awesome.
happen today at 11:30. I'm so excited to meet her. It's going to be awesome.
And women's history all tied in. So it's
Yeah, it's crazy because even yesterday I got to have two command officers with the St. Cloud Police Department that got to join me. Pretty amazing. Two amazing ladies. And then on Friday, I'm also going to one of the highest ranking females here in Central Florida, a deputy chief, the deputy chief over at UCF, Robin Griffin Critzo. And she's going to be joining me on Friday. And if you want to talk about a powerhouse, This lady's got it. She is squared away. When you see her and you talk to her, you just feel that command presence from her. And I'm so excited to welcome her in on Friday. So this week's jam-packed
Got a good
interviews,
lineup.
next
Yeah.
week too. It's crazy. I'm just so excited you're back. We got Breakfast
Thanks.
with Bridget again instead of Breakfast with Bridget with a side of Crystal. And no, she did
Croissants
so,
with
we had so
Crystal.
much
Yes.
fun. Croissants with Crystal.
Cafecito with Crystal. Yes.
Oh man, today we Ezzy came through clutch
Yes,
today. We're
Izzy
all a little
did. Thank
caffeinated right
goodness.
now.
Yes. And we
Oh,
posted some
I
funny
know.
pictures on Facebook too for everyone.
I was like,
I don't know
being
who had the
crazy today.
funnier face. Everyone needs to go on and comment, I guess. 'Cause,
Yeah, check that out. So, but we are still dealing with a little bit of a mess on
yeah,
I-4 right now. DOT
what's
cam
new?
showing quite the scene. Yeah, what's new? Exactly, Bridget. So this happened right at the top of the show. This was not a crash. This was some type of fuel leak from the semi that you see on the left side of your screen, that yellow semi there. Mass fuel leak. Because of the response out there, they alerted the hazmat crew, and these lanes are now closed. 2 lanes eastbound I-4 right at Cayley Avenue. But this is the problem. Oh, DOT must be watching Breakfast with Bridget. I appreciate you guys as they're moving the camera there. These delays, man, this is cool. So the delays are all the way back towards Orange Blossom Trail and the Conroy area. So be prepared to increase that following distance, please, this morning, so we don't have crashes. Again, this is just a hazmat off to the side there, and those left 2 lanes are open. Your drive times are reflecting this delay, though. Osceola Parkway to Colonial, 27 minutes, 25 if you're coming the other direction. Now, Kissimmee, this crash been hanging out, and it's causing a problem for you guys to get onto the Florida Turnpike. So this is going to be the entrance to the Turnpike from US 192, right in between Kissimmee and St. Cloud. Be careful there. Pleasant Hill Road, nothing new here. At Green Tree, the delays are pretty serious with a crash there. So, Mom, if you're watching this morning, stay home. Don't leave yet until this clears out. My mom lives like 3 miles south of there. Pine Hills, good morning to you. Silver Star, all up to speed. The West End, we're seeing some serious delays southbound on the Florida Turnpike as you approach the Oakland Exchange. Be careful there. Not a shutdown, but you can see the delay reflecting there on the very bottom. We don't get to see red there on the drive time often, so we're seeing some heavy delays at a whopping speed of 12 miles an hour, so be careful. 192 in Griffin, calling it clear. I'm also going to call Overstreet all clear as well. Narcoossee, you're seeing some delays in the Lake Nona area, but if you're headed towards the airport this morning, 528, moving pretty smooth. Drive times across Central Florida, Bridget, we're calling average today. Not a good day, not a bad day, but people just need to be prepared when they're hitting the road. Talked with a few folks yesterday. All crashes are preventable, whether you like me saying that or not, but someone does cause something to contribute, so we just need to be careful this morning.
Yes, and this afternoon too, when I saw the timeline of the storms later this afternoon, everyone needs to be careful
Yeah,
right
that
after
big
2.
band coming down
Mm-hmm.
was crazy. I was like, oh, we need this, but makes for a good nap time.
I know. I hope you get where you need to go by then, because that will not be a fun
Amen.
drive. All right. Well, thanks, Trooper Steve. Have fun at the birthday. Well, not birthday. Well, it's not a birthday party, but it's recognition for
It's a
a
celebration,
centenarian.
recognition of
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm sure she has some great
Bye-bye.
stories too. Can't wait. Thank you.
Bye, Bridget.
Bye. All right, we have some news to get to, and then we will head over to Chantal Abbas, a licensed counselor. Today we're talking about the benefits of couples counseling. That's coming up in just a second, but a couple of quick news stories we want to hit you with here. Ezzy Castro has the latest on the tragedy in Baltimore with this bridge collapse, which is now turning into a recovery mission. It's now been over 24 hours, and divers are back in the water looking for the remains of those missing construction workers.
Divers are expected to be back in the water this morning to look for the 6 missing construction workers following yesterday's morning's catastrophic bridge collapse. The impact caught on camera when a cargo ship slammed into a column just before 1:30 in the morning.
The whole bridge just fell down. Start, whoever, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
Investigators say the ship lost power and propulsion, though the pilot still managed to issue a mayday call, giving officials time to stop other drivers.
They undoubtedly saved an innumerable amount of lives.
Meantime, several engineers say it does not appear the collapse was the result of infrastructure problems with the bridge, though there's still a lot of questions about what went wrong.
I'm not surprised. the bridge is designed to span a certain distance. It relies on those supports. If one of those supports is gone, of course, bridges are constructed with factors of safety, but not that kind of factor of safety.
It is just catastrophic, devastating to see that, but we'll be waiting for more updates there and, sending our thoughts to those in Baltimore affected by this tragedy. Also today, a hearing in this developing story around Orlando Commissioner Regina Hill. Court documents are alleging that she took more than $100,000 from a 96-year-old woman, and the allegations are that Hill used the money herself for her own personal uses. But News 6's Mark Lehman has more on a grand jury now looking into these claims.
A hearing is taking place today in the case against Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill. We first told you about the allegations last week. Court documents claim Hill fraudulently established power of attorney over a 96-year-old woman. Investigators say that document allowed her to secure a mortgage in the woman's name and co-purchase this home in the Lake Man Estates of Orlando without the woman knowing about it. FDLE also claims Hill used more than $100,000 of the woman's cash and credit cards to purchase things for herself, like expensive perfume, clothing, IV vitamins, a facelift, a New Year's Eve trip to Miami, car insurance, and dental surgery. On Tuesday, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer told us a grand jury is also investigating.
We don't have any stance. We know that there's a grand jury that's convened. The information we have is pretty much what was in the news.
Attorneys for the 96-year-old filed court papers seeking to keep Hill away from the woman's finances and her property. An Orange County judge approved a temporary injunction last week.
So we'll keep you posted on what happens in that hearing today. Now we want to get over to Shantala Boss this morning, and she's, one of our frequent experts that we talk to when it comes to all things mental health and counseling, and she joins us again this morning. Good morning, Shantala. I'm excited to talk about couples counseling with you.
Good morning, Bridget. Yes, I'm glad you're back and
Thanks.
glad to talk with you about this. Is such an important topic.
Yeah, and it came to us by way of sort of some pop culture news. You and I both love our pop culture news. I'm constantly combing, and there's no shortage of those tie-ins to the celebrities and their health care. We had Princess Kate last week with her announcement with her health, and now we're talking about couples counseling, and it ties back into Taylor Swift and her boyfriend Travis Kelce.
Exactly. Well, and just remembering they're people too, and seeing that we all have problems, we all have situations in life, and it doesn't even have to be an extreme problem or that you're at the verge of breaking up necessarily. And that's kind of what I was alluding to when I kind of brought this to attention was, I think a lot of times what happens when we think couples counseling, we think, oh, they're about to split up. That's the end of their relationship. They're on the way out. But as we were talking earlier, it's really good to have that check-in, that check-up, because relationships go through a lot of ups and downs in life. And as we live together, we work, we have all these things, kids, stressors, a lot of times we build up assumptions in our head, we hold resentments, and we don't often realize sometimes we're feeling that way. We just have these things internally. Sometimes we avoid communication about it because we don't want to make it worse, or we maybe don't want to deal with it at the time, but that's the worst thing we can do. And so that's why it's good to prioritize communication, counseling, having a third party kind of help us iron out some of that stuff.
And so there's different types of couples counseling too, because we look at it from a standpoint of like where you are in your relationship. So, a lot of times when couples get together, you normally first hear about the counseling, maybe like for premarital counseling, whether it's with like a licensed counselor or someone in ministry. That's usually when it first comes up, right?
Usually, I think it's even better even before that if
Right.
you're considering getting engaged, because it's so important to have those conversations about what your expectations are for your marriage. And like I said earlier, we come in thinking one way and we don't even realize that maybe that's not what the other person feels or thinks. And these are conversations we don't always have getting to know someone. We're having those fun conversations. We're having those good experiences. Those are the honeymoon phases. And a lot of times I think we avoid those conversations because we don't want to we don't want to push away all that fun and excitement feeling, but it's so important long term. So there are different stages and different types of counseling based on where you are in your relationship or your marriage. So even just finding out more about it, getting more information, and really prioritizing that in a relationship, especially in today's day and age with all the stressors that we're dealing with, in your position, in my position, with all the news, with all the things we're hearing, it's difficult, and we need something to fall back on with our communication.
So we look at, you tune up your car, you tune up your air conditioner, but couples can also do sort of like tune-ups. I know I've heard of, maybe doing a check-in every year, if at the minimum, just to like kind of check in with each other in an organized fashion that way, having like a counseling session every year, like, just like you do those other tune-ups.
I think that's good. I think too, maybe one or two or even 3 sessions, just to kind of, sometimes it's hard to get everything out in 50 minutes or an hour. And if you don't have that regular conversation with someone else, it can be a little bit awkward. You can spend the session feeling, trying to break down those walls. So maybe it needs to be 6 or 7 sessions subsequently throughout the year. That would be more kind of what I would recommend, just because it's difficult to hit all the points within 1 hour, and things come up throughout the months, the years, that maybe you don't remember or aren't really on your mind at the time. So having that consistency, and it doesn't have to be huge. A lot of people have EAP, employee assistance programs, through their insurance that offers 6 to 10 free sessions. So it's a really great way to just start those communications, and afterwards you can have dinner, have a date night, make it something special, have the kids, get a babysitter. Those are really important things to prioritize relationships. I see so many people that come to the end of their marriage, and there's so much resentment, there's so much anger, there's so much stuff that's been pushed down under the surface for so long that they're unfortunately unable to get past that. And that's just so unfortunate. So being proactive is such a great thing. And when we see that in pop culture, I think it reminds us, wow, we need to remember to do that too. We're all people. We all go through stress, no matter how good or bad our life may be.
And you talked about how we might like the fun conversation topics or activities, but then like those harder things to talk about can be awkward. So that's where the third party comes in, because you can kind of help guide everyone and keep the field level, I guess.
So important. I was actually talking to my husband about this yesterday, because he was saying, well, I don't really want to talk about that. But unfortunately, when you're in counseling, the therapist is going to bring it up. They bring up tough stuff, and not to be fearful of that, but that's why we're here, is to talk about the hard stuff in life. And every day, small talk, fun times, it's great, but it's really important to have that. And so sometimes you do need a third party just to kind of get in there and kind of twist a little bit, just kind of ask some of those tough questions, because they are important. Avoidance is never good in a relationship. Communication is really key. We say that all the time, but it's so hard to practice in everyday living, because tough topics are hard to handle. Right. And it doesn't have to be tough necessarily in our relationship. It could be externally, things going on in our world. So many things that stress us, that cause us to shut down or not communicate with our partner, and those can be very detrimental.
So how do you get two people to come together for that? Or how do you approach that when maybe one person might be apprehensive and the other person wants to, but then, you might see that?
Buy-in can be tough if one person does and the other, and I think a lot of times it's just explaining the benefits of it and normalizing it, and that's why I'm so glad you had me on today to talk about this, because it is a very important thing, and it's becoming more and more normalized to see a counselor, to talk about things. I think a lot of times people are fearful of counseling because it thinks this means this is the end of their relationship, or if they talk about these tough topics, they're going to split up. But that is definitely not true. If that is the case, you'll split up anyway, because these topics are going to come out, and avoidance only prolongs a problem and makes it worse. So if we can explain that to our partner and kind of also take their guard down, help them realize this is not attacking them, this is a neutral party. Also, I tell my clients, if you want to do marriage counseling, don't come see me, because if you're my client, you need to see a neutral party, because I'm their therapist. You see somebody you both pick together that you both like and feel comfortable with. Because a lot of times, sometimes one person will feel ganged up on, maybe if they go see the other person's therapist that they've known and built that relationship with. So you want that neutral party. That definitely helps a lot.
And so typically, is that what counselors do? They typically will steer their client to a separate counselor to help with like a couples or a family type situation.
Yes, that is definitely best practice. I actually have someone in my office that does couples. So I refer clients who are looking for that to him. And it's easy to say, I want to see my therapist because you feel that comfort level, but it's so important to have that neutral person. But as working women too, and we advocate individually for our clients. So we will have a little bit of a skewed viewpoint if we've been seeing someone for a period of time.
Right, right. Well, I love it. And I
Yeah.
love the idea that we can approach that topic in more of a, normalized fashion and doing it before things get serious, like you said, even before engagement, not just after engagement, and doing it regularly as just part of, regular maintenance. That's a very good concept to, try to approach when it comes to couples and family life.
Yes, I think it's so important. We talk about mental health, we talk about, taking care of ourselves and mental health first aid, and being a couple is very hard, especially in today's day and age. So having that resource, having that outlet, keeping those conversations open, even if your partner isn't ready, continuing to talk about it and giving them that buy-in where it could help them and support them is so important.
All right, Shantala. Well, we're out of time, but we appreciate it. And of course, we can find you online and connect and set up sessions if we need to reach out.
Absolutely. My website, I'm Boss Wellness, and it's Boss Wellness LLC.
All
So,
right. Well, we'll see you
all right.
soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Bridget.
you. Have a good
Okay.
day.
You
All right.
too. Bye.
Bye. All right, that's going to do it for us. We want to draw your attention to Lake County Shelter. They are waiving fees right now. They are way over capacity. So please look into the Lake County Shelter, adopt some pets, try to help out, foster or volunteer too if you can. And we are hitting the road to Sanford. That is coming up soon, going to 32771. Go to clickorlando.com/hits the road. Let us know what you want to see us cover out there. Straight Up is Weather Wise with Jonathan Kegas. We'll see you tomorrow.